This is the Vanguard Sentinel. It is an electronic warfare heavy fighter variant of the Vanguard series, one of 4 variants of Vanguard. Not only is it equipped with some excellent firepower and a manned turret for you and a friend, it can also drop the shields of its enemies and then render that ship immobile, courtesy of an EMP charge found on board. So this ship for me was my first ever in-game purchase with in-game currency a few years ago when I finally had enough Alpha UEC. This was the first thing I bought, so it brings back fond memories for me. A lot of grinding I completed in this ship. It looks the business, that blue and yellow livery. Not to everyone's taste, but I like it. It's very snappy in its design. A proven ship and has some excellent bounty hunting potential, or at least I think so, in the future. So we'll see how bounty hunting pans out and just what we can do with this ship. But overall, the Vanguard series of ships are very popular for good reason. And the Sentinel, I would argue, is probably the most popular out of the 4 variants that we currently have in the Star Citizen universe. The Aegis Vanguard Sentinel is an electronic warfare ship that's designed to fight smart instead of taking enemies head on. The conversion features an AR cockpit, an external E-war pod, decoy missiles and a set of EMP charges. The Vanguard Sentinels often provide necessary combat support for combined operations. A lone Sentinel assigned Wild Weasel tasks is frequently paired with the Harbinger bombers and Warden escorts for large attack missions. The Sentinel is intended as something of a trickster, orientated towards causing confusion on the battlefield. From EMP pulses to commander control interference, the Vanguard Sentinel will support battlefield operations by making it all that much harder for opponents to stay in contact and have proper information. At the expense of maneuverability compared to other medium heavy fighters like the Hornet or Lightning, the Vanguard is made from a distinct tungsten alloy and has an extensive backup systems which enhances the ship's combat survivability. The ship is equipped with a size 5 gun hardpoint, 4 size 2 guns built into the nose, a manned turret with a pair of size 2 guns and missile racks that can hold 4 size 3 and 8 size 2 missiles. The Vanguard Sentinel is a variant of the Vanguard deep space fighter developed by Aegis Dynamics, an electronic warfare platform. It was created to be used in the suppression of enemy air defense and tracking capabilities. The remodel replaces some of the Vanguard's direct armament with an external electronic countermeasures pod, decoy missiles and a set of electromagnetic pulse EMP charges to be used in an asymmetrical warfare operations. While it was designed for the UEE Navy specifications, Aegis has made the Vanguard Sentinel available for civilian and corporate users. This ship will hold a crew of 2. Obviously it has no room for cargo. It will cost you roughly 2 million Alpha UEC in-game. Length 38 meters, beam 26.5, height 9.5, it has a combat speed of 171 meters per second and a maximum speed of 1022. The ship also comes equipped with 1 size 2 radar, 1 size 2 computer. It is powered via a size 2 power plant. It has 2 size 2 coolers and 2 size 2 shield generators. Stock, it comes with an excellent QT drive, which is the Crossfield. It has 1 medium jump module, 2 size 2 fuel intakes, 2 size 2 fuel tanks and 1 size 2 quantum fuel tank. So for a stock ship you do get some pretty respectable components. The Crossfield QT drive is a very good QT drive in my opinion, but the aesthetics of this ship really look cool. It looks purposeful, it looks menacing. There's no mistaking a Vanguard series of ships, and the Sentinel just has that bit of extra flair with the blue and yellow paint scheme. The engines look really good. They have like mini Cadillac rear lights underneath them. The front looks purposeful, deadly, poised. We have these really cool sort of RGB glimmers through the intakes at the front, and the engines just look excellent. So it's a very nice, menacing ship to be flying around in the verse. There's no mistake in the shape of the Vanguard series of ships. They are very cool to look at. It obviously packs a substantial amount of firepower, as you would expect. We have missiles to help destroy shields faster, thus allowing you to deploy your EMP even quicker and help immobilize that ship. We have a size 5 hardpoint at the front with various size 2s built in directly to the nose of the ship. So there's no mistake in the Vanguards. They almost certainly pack a punch, and this one is no exception to that rule. So to complement all of that firepower located on the nose of the ship, we do of course get a manned turret with 2 size 2s, which will help the pilot quickly drop the shields of any ship you're attacking. But this ship did have something I've only recently noticed as well, and these are actually air brakes, and I thought that was really, really cool. I've never noticed that before, but it's a very nice touch. And those, I swear, those are like Cadillac lights underneath the engine. They just look like Cadillac lights. So it's a very impressive ship for you and a friend to go around making easy money, depending on what weapons you've got. The stock loadout will still kill a lot of things easily, especially AI or even some players, I would argue. But to have the potential to upgrade that size 4 located on the nose to a whopping size 5 is almost certainly what most people do with this ship. So let's briefly touch on why I think this ship will be good for bounty hunting. We know that bounty hunting 2.0 is in the works. We're not entirely sure what that entails. I hope we get some sort of restraining equipment, and then this ship becomes a different animal. I would probably put 2 distortion repeaters on the turret and maybe swap out 2 of the size 2s on the nose for some distortions. Use the other weapons on board to drop the shields along with missiles, hit them with the EMP. That buys us a window of opportunity to debus from our ship, go and get the criminal, bring him to justice while his ship is completely rendered useless. And there you go, there's your payday, because don't forget, keeping your captive, keeping your prey alive, I should say, will render you more cash. So obviously catching your criminal is going to be much more worthwhile than executing him. The only issue I would find with this ship in that scenario is there is nowhere to store said captive. So that's why I'm kind of hoping we get some sort of restraining apparatus to restrain our prisoners and keep them under close look. We'll have a spare crewman to do that, but I just thought that would be a nice little endeavour for this ship, because the EMP is often used in piracy, you know, so's the Warlock. So we know they are effective weapons, and they have had various balance changes and nerfs, but I think for bounty hunting this ship could come to its own. For that to be effective, you would need a 2-man crew, I think, just to keep an eye on your prisoner in the back, even if he is restrained, because we're not entirely sure how those mechanics will work. But having an EMP is certainly useful. If you wanted to solo bounty, I would recommend the Hawk. I think the Hawk will be okay. I think that might need some tuning. So there's other options for sure. But other than just killing things for your cash, I think this could be a good ship for bounty hunting 2.0. It's well armoured, it's got the arsenal, the firepower to relinquish any of your foes. So I don't see any reason why this ship couldn't be a good bounty hunting ship. It handles well, it's got excellent nose authority, it handles beautifully in atmosphere because of the wings. So it's got a lot going for it, and I think it would add a whole new dimension to this ship. Now, I know there are purpose-built ships out there for that sort of role, i.e. the Cutty Blue, etc., but I do think this gives another game loop for the Sentinel. But what do you guys think? I'm interested to know. I do think this ship would be capable to do so. As you can see, the wings are located in 2 positions. It has a landing configuration and basic flight configuration there. I do like the wings sweeping back, and tricycle landing gear, which is always nice. Right, let's take a look inside the Sentinel. So we'll start at the back of the vessel, pointing towards the rear of the ship. So right at the back, you'll see 2 sliding doors. Behind that, you'll find the QT drive located at the back towards the rear of the ship. And then that brings us to midship, and we have an engineering station, which I have to admit is very impressive for a ship of this size. This is a heavy fighter with an EMP. There are other ships, much larger ships, that I feel don't have as intricate a control panel as the Sentinel. We also have a kitchenette area here with the 2 bunks for you and your crewmates, so you can log out from this ship and then log back in and continue doing whatever you were doing. So again, that's really nice. It's so good that they fixed that. That was always a problem for me, logging in and out of beds, and I'm so happy it works now. It really does make a difference to the gameplay. So here we have this whopping engineering station. So whoever's the second crewman here is going to be very busy pressing all these buttons and switches and making sure that the ship operates at its full potential. I guess monitoring that giant EMP device is probably going to be a big part of that. We have the 2 beds here, and then we have the turret location you can see as well. It's an easy drop down sit-in situation, nothing too complicated there. But very well laid out ship, I find, the Sentinels. Very impressive, very clean looking. Typical Aegis military styling, I would say. Just without all the green. It's sort of like a very light greyish blue that we have throughout the ship, which is nice. Then we have some stairs that take us to the flight deck and the cockpit, of course, with components flushing these rails. So getting components in and out might be a little bit tricky because of that railing. Time will tell. We're not too far away from finding out. And then we have the 1 seat and the cockpit, which is, in my opinion, one of the favourite cockpits of mine out of all of the ships. I just really like the Vanguards. The sensor arrays are really nicely thought out. The MFDs are easy to read. There's nothing complicated about this ship. Everything's within arm's reach. There's no clipping. The visibility is not awful. It's a menacing cockpit to sit in. The way it's shaped, you feel like you're going to do some work and business, that's for sure. But it's a very nice cockpit, very comfortable. Everything is exactly where you would expect it to be. So definitely one of my favourite cockpits in game. Actually, the Vanguards offer a lovely cockpit, in my opinion. So very cool stuff. And what we'll do now then, guys, is complete this video by doing our walk around so I can give you a sense of scale. Okay, let's begin our walk around of this fantastic blue and yellow RGB lit firepower crazy heavy fighter of a ship from Aegis Dynamics. And as you can see, first thing that greets you is the firepower located on the nose. This is currently the size 4. You can swap that for a size 5, that big chunky monkey on the bottom there. And then the 4 nose cannons obviously built directly into the nose. Moving around, we come to these RGB intakes and the engines look really cool. We have an interesting tricycle landing gear. I do like those. I do like the sort of tank tracks that they have. That's really cool. We have missiles located on the belly of the beast, and we make our way towards the rear. There are aspects to the rear of this ship that just remind me of the old school Cadillacs, with the sort of tail lights that they have and the fins. It really does give that vibe to me. May not for you, but for me it almost certainly does. Various maneuvering thrusters. My only complaint with this ship is that ramp. There is no... it's the 2nd of December, the time of recording, and all I want for Christmas is a button on that frickin' ramp because it's annoying. But we'll make our way round to the front. More maneuvering thrusters. As you can see, the wings are nicely nestled in there to save room. Could be a very good candidate to have a few of these landing on Krakens, I reckon, because they're going to free up a lot of space with that mechanic. Another missile hardpoint here. And then, of course, that brings us back round to the front. Very nice paint scheme. I like it. I like the paint scheme of this ship. It's cool. Let's be honest. It looks good. And back to that whopping size 4. And it does have a mean posture about it. You can't deny that. It's built to look menacing. And it does. Right, let's go get in the ship, shall we? And we'll make our way up this ramp without a button, which is extremely annoying, in my opinion. I just like the level of detail in these ships as well. You can see the texture of the ramp. Takes us straight in. So, plenty of room in here for 2 people, and 3 if you've captured someone. We have a munitions locker here with your weapon rack in. And then we have the basic, very basic, I'd say, kitchenette area. These don't have a function at the moment. 2 bunk beds located there. Opposite those you have this sort of engineering station. We have a shower toilet combo and storage bin which slides in and out, which is nice. I'm gonna have to just close, please. Nope. See, this is the most irritating thing about this ship. Just put a button somewhere, please. You did it for the Cutlass. Right, so we'll make our way towards one of the component housing here. This is where the QT drive is stored, and that is a crossfield, and they are good quantum drives. I do like the crossfields. I use them quite a lot with the Connies, so they're fairly quick, but they have really good, fairly decent fuel efficiency. So I do like the crossfield. I think it's a very good drive. Not too tight in here. Toilet down there. Didn't want to open. Door shut in my face. And still doesn't want to play today. I don't think. It's probably me doing something wrong. No reflection, because of course I am a space vampire. A spamfire. And here we have the engineering station. Again, very complex and just looks really cool. There are bigger ships that don't have this sort of level of detail for engineering. It is cool. I could stand here and press these buttons all day long, to be quite honest with you. But at the moment, it just has the basic power and power output functions and all that good stuff. So there is some capabilities here for your extra crewmate should you have one. Servers here for blades. I'm assuming that's what that's going to be for. So if you don't find another crew member, at least you can have an AI turret doing some work for you. And this really, really decent like LCD screens everywhere in a bright orange, sort of blue-grey tone. We have the turret above us. We'll jump in this real quickly. The first time I had this ship, this turret did actually kill me. It threw me out into space, which was nice. Can I get in, please? There we go. A little bit complicated. Again, just a button would be great. Just a button. Up we go. And it is a fairly chunky, obviously being Aegis, very similar to the turret found in the Reclaimer, or vice versa. I don't like the turret as much as I like the cockpit. I think the MFDs are too obstructive. Visibility isn't particularly brilliant because of the control console. It's doable. It's not going to cause too many problems, but I do think it is a little bit claustrophobic, kind of. With the Reclaimer, I didn't mind it so much because you're in a Reclaimer and it's built like a tank. So getting that vibe from that turret wasn't an issue, but for a heavy fighter, I think they need trimming down a little bit, to be honest with you. Just my opinion. And then we'll move through to the front of the ship. And underneath these, god damn it, these freaking doors. Underneath these, god damn it, these freaking doors. Third time lucky. Stop. There we go. Storage. Or a component bay. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's more than likely storage. There we go. But that was something I didn't know existed until recently as well. There's the components, and again, referring to these steel bars on the stairs. It's going to make life getting these components in and out for repair tricky, I think. We have the shield generators there. Same on the other side. Another storage bin, it looks like, of some kind. And then we have some more up here. Cooling module. That's a nice big sliding door mechanic. Very cool. Awesome. Okay. Moving on. These ones don't do anything, by the way. Into the pilot's seat. In one of my favourite cockpits. Love the padding on the side there as you swoop into position. Just really pleasant place to sit. If you pay attention to the way the lights, like mini floodlights underneath the MFDs, reflect everything. So it's not too bright in your face. It's just a nice gentle glow. The struts aren't that important, really. I mean, the visibility isn't brilliant when you're looking up, but overall it's something you quickly adapt to and you barely notice it. But all the basic functions are here, again, very nicely laid out. A HOTAS system, all the buttons work, but those little floodlights underneath the MFDs, nice touch, very well done and thought out cockpit, I think, and definitely one of my favourites. So there we go, guys, that was my video on the Vanguard Sentinel by Aegis Dynamics. If you enjoyed the video, you know what buttons to press, and I will have more Star Citizen content en route to your location very soon. Cheers.